Those of you joining me for the very first time, this is me just responding to various questions, comments I get on various different videos. I never censor my comments, and I always encourage people to jump in on the conversation because it's usually pretty fantastical. Whether we agree, disagree, or agree to disagree, always say your piece. Today's date is the 9th of February 2017. Let's just jump into it. The Germans are now bringing in laws that Muslims can pray in Germany, but they are going to do it in German. Failure to speak German will mean deporting back where they came from. I doubt they'll do that, but I don't know. Germany's got some really weird laws. I doubt they'll be able to pull that one out. Like, I mean, you're not going to stop these people from praying in whatever language they're going to pray in. I think a lot of those laws that you see, and Merkel's like, I swear the lady's bipolar or something like that, because it's like, one hand she's like, multiculturalism has failed, and then on the other hand she's like, oh well, bring them all in. I'm not gonna waver from my track, but still vote for me. But yeah, no, you guys are stupid and you're wrong, and I know better than you, and I'm just gonna bring in hordes of masses of people, that type of thing. So yeah, I think finally it's starting to show in the polls that Merkel is starting to lose how this is. Like, that tells you the brainwashing of the German people when they still support Merkel. Like, at this point, like, no sane, rational person can support Merkel. There is no sane, rational argument. There is just nothing you can argue in favor of what she's doing. Nothing. So when you hear them talk about putting out these little nuggets, we're going to do this, no, the core issue is people don't want mass hordes flooding into their country. And until they, that's the only thing people want to hear, that we're going to stop the mass immigration, particularly of young fighting age men. We're going to cut off the welfare and send them back home. That's what they want to hear. Now, the thing is if the AFD gets in there, I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off either, because as soon as they start deporting people, the amount of ruckus that's going to come out, it's going to lead to a civil war. So it's kind of that time to peacefully repatriate people, I think, is leaving. Some will go willingly, but I think the most won't. It is what it is. But you're not the only country that does stupid laws. Here in Canada, after the attack, this comes from Hadil, it's an MP in Canada, and again, I'm looking at Parliament Hill. I watch CPAC all the time, and they usually during question period. I mean, the multiculturalism of Parliament Hill is definitely, and you constantly catch people from other from other places of the world saying, when is Canada going to do this for my old country? When is Canada going to do that for my other? You know what I mean? Like It seems like they're more interested in, how are you going to help people in India? How are you going to help people over there in Africa or whatever, in Somalia or whatever? What are you going to do to help bring in the Yazidis? What do you, it's like, okay, whoa. Those people have their problems. I get that. And I don't mind helping people. We should take care of our own first. But it seems like all these MPs that are coming in, because they're, basically diversity's taking its hold. You have this Liberal MP who wants Memorandum 103, which is the anti-Islamophobia law that's going to be coming in. Meaning, guys like me are going to go to jail. Like, there's no doubt about that. Nobody knows it's coming in. And this woman obviously is Muslim, and she proposed this long before the attack at the mosque, which we still don't know what happened at the mosque or the motive. The police are just not saying. They're just not saying. Rebel media, you have, whatchamacallit there, Faith Goldie. She's out there, like, on top of it. She's, calling them almost every day. Do you have any new news on Bissonnette there? What did he say why he did it? Like, is there anything? Nothing. Mainstream media is still going with, it was a hate crime or whatever. But it might not have been. There could be other, he could have done it for other reasons. Maybe a pink-green giraffe was talking to him and said, go murder people, and just go in there. Okay, that looks like a place where I can go murder people. And he had no clue what a mosque was. That's a possibility. The other thing is severe mental issues. Apparently his brother's been, hauled away to the funny farm just for, I guess freaking out. Wow, I can imagine it'd be a lot of stress for a family. But yeah, this guy seems to have a history of mental illness and stuff like that. Mainstream media is silent. But what really is eerie is how silent the mainstream media is on this mosque attack here. I think there's more to the story. There's something going on that they're not saying. Like, maybe he's a part of a bigger group. And this is why I'm kind of waiting to see when we get more facts and stuff like that come out of why he did it and stuff like that, because maybe he is a part of a bigger group in Canada that's getting ready to pounce, which is not an impossibility. Again, if we see a civil war or something break out in Canada, nobody around the world is going to expect it. It's just going, how the hell? Why are they fighting? Like, what was? We had no clue, and that's the way Canada is. We've always been like that. We're basically silence. We don't say nothing, and we just snap. I'm not saying myself personally, but as a people, it's kind of how we are. We just gotta. But when we snap, we kill everything. Fire up the muskets and cannons. It's just kind of the way we do. It's the way we roll, right? But yeah, this Islamophobia law, which came in on the OIC. This is a UN-backed Muslim organization. There's pretty much every Muslim country in there. And they basically, again, you have UN overreach in Canada. This is why, again, if there was ever time for a nationalist party in Canada, now's the time. And there's a lot of rumblings of it. We've already got some starting in Quebec. Problem is they're going to be sovereigntist-oriented, not federalist-oriented. I still want a federal government. I still want, from sea to shining sea, from Vancouver Island to St. John's over there in Newfoundland. I want people united within my country because I understand, understand the unity of that. But I also understand within 4 years I may have to leave my country because one thing about Canada, especially with the multiculturalism and stuff like that, its history was conflict. The history of Canada is conflict. And we're divided enough into enough groups that you could see, I can see the French going to war with the natives and vice versa in Canada again. I could see that happen, especially if there's a huge sovereigntist movement. The natives they get really pissed off and triggered on that one pretty easily. The natives, they get riled up enough as it is against the federal government, but they really hate the sovereigntist government. They always did, they always will, that type of thing. Again, they don't forget their history either. You know what I mean? The natives, they know their history quite well, that type of thing. So that could happen. And a civil war in Quebec, again, I still say is 8 to 10 years out. Before we start seeing the problems that you're seeing, and then maybe in 10 to 15 years you would see a civil war in Canada, but at current rates. But the thing is that the cities in Canada, they're pretty much all multicultural. They're pretty much blending everybody out. Now it looks like we went down in population a bit. Instead of 36 million, we're like 35.15 million now. Now, I don't. That was the official numbers from the census. So I think people were just ballparking at 36 million. So we gained basically more people in 5 years than the first 50 years of Confederation or something like that. It's just ridiculous. That's not sustainable. And whenever you hear about people saying, okay, well, Islamophobia. Okay, well, here we have a lady that's basically not directly pushing Sharia law, but basically putting in elements that make it impossible to criticize it. So that's not Islamophobia, because it's well, you're making it impossible to criticize religion. And the other problem is in Canada, okay, you can have rights as a human being, but a religion itself does not have rights. So, but the thing is the way Parliament is being so politically correct, they'll just pass it. But it won't be constitutional. People are allowed to criticize religions, period. That they can, you can't offend a religion. You can offend people, but you can't offend a religion. So I don't know how they're going to spin it to be able to pass it, but Memorandum 103 is basically the stepping stones to, again, more anti-bullying, anti-hate speech laws. Get rid of all those things. If you have a nationalist government, you know what? I don't mind taking the criticism. Just get rid of it, and then anybody can say whatever they want. There's a difference between uttering death threats and slander and stuff. And we already have laws for that, and I'm okay with those laws. Just enforce those laws. If somebody steps out of line, you get recourse. Fair enough. But the idea that you can't criticize anything on the left no, people don't want that. So I guess I'll leave it at that. So anyway, if you like this kind of content, please consider making a donation to the channel. Links down below. Thank you so much to everybody who has. Next time, rate, subscribe, share, comment, like. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. Always do the right thing, and have yourselves a great day. G'day and welcome to Q&A wherever it is. For those of you joining me for the very first time, this is me just responding to various questions and comments again on various different videos. I never censor my comments, and I always encourage people to jump in on the conversation because it's usually pretty fantastical. Whether we agree, disagree, or agree to disagree, always say your piece. Today's date is the 9th of February 2017. Let's just jump into it. The Germans are now bringing in laws that Muslims can pray in Germany, but they are going to do it in German. Failure to speak German will mean deporting back where they came from. I don't do that, but I don't know. Germany's got some really weird laws. I doubt they'll be able to pull that one out. You're not going to stop these people from praying in whatever language they're going to pray in. I think a lot of those laws that you see, and Merkel's I swear the lady's bipolar or something like that, because it's one hand she's like multiculturalism has failed, and then on the other hand she's like, oh well, bring them all in, bring them all in. I'm not gonna waver from my track, but still vote for me. But yeah, no, you guys are stupid and you're wrong, and I know better than you, and I'm just gonna bring in hordes of masses of people. That type of thing. So yeah, I think finally it's starting to show in the polls that Merkel is starting to lose like how how this is